This is the day when the Divine Spiritual Master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Iswar Puri, disappeared from this world. So it's a very, very auspicious day for us. So on the disappearance days of the great personalities, there's wonderful prayer, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, that Srila Prabhupada always used to chant on the disappearance days. So if you're getting tower, you can first of all put all your devices on silent, because these little babies tend to cry in the middle of the lecture. And second of all, you can look up for Jaya Nilo Prema Dana. Jaya Nilo Prema Dana Karuna Prachur Jaya Nilo Prema Dana Karuna Praju Jaya Nilo Prema Dana Karuna Praju Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Kamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasa Ragu Nada Patita Pavan Patita Pavan Kaha Mora Bata Juga Kaha Kavira Kale Kota Gelam Puranatara Pashani Kutivo Mata Anale Pashivo Gauranga Gunera Nini Kota Gela Pavo Sesava Sangira Sange Jai Kailo Bila Se Sangana Paya Kande Narottamada Kande Narottamada Jayanila Premadana Karuna Praju Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Ishvara Puri Maharaj Kota Gela Ishvara Puri Maharaj Jaya Vaishnava Thakur 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Ananda Gauri Vaishnava Ki Jai Nitya Lila Vishnom Prabhupada His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Samstapakacharyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Ki Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Srila Iswar Puri Maharaj Ki Holy Disappearance Day of Srila Iswar Puri Maharaj Ki Tai Gau Premanandi All glories to the Assembly All glories to the Assembly All glories to the Assembly All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru Gauranga. Glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandigam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So today is a very, very special day, the disappearance day of the Divine Spiritual Master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Iswar Puri Maharaj. Even though Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just to set the example, he shows how everyone, to reach the perfection of life, must approach a spiritual master. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also accepted Iswar Puri, who was the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, as his spiritual master. And Madhavendra Puri was coming in the Madhava Gaudiya Madhava Sampradaya, and he was one of the very first to display ecstatic symptoms of Krishna Prem. And Ishvara Puri, he was born in a Brahmin family in a place a little bit south of Calcutta called Kumarhata. And he displayed all types of auspicious signs on his body. And from very early he was detached from material life. And somehow he was brought together by the divine arrangement with Madhavendra Puri, and accepted him as a spiritual master. And he rendered wonderful service to his spiritual master, because we hear in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. We should approach the wise and bona fide spiritual master and inquire for him. Pariprasna. Prashna means question. So pariprasna, we should get all our questions, all our doubts satisfied. And not that we take knowledge from the spiritual masters. See you later. Bye-bye. Tata. Pariprasnena sevaya. All the knowledge will become revealed within the heart by service. And to describe how Ishvara Puri, he accepted this principle as his life and soul and rendered so many menial services to Madhavendra Puri. Even in the last days of Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri was serving him very menial services, cleaning up his stool and urine, because when one becomes old, then all these things become irregulated. And Prabhupada explains, or actually Bhaktisiddhanta explains, that this is the Leela of the spiritual master to show himself as being disabled, just to let the disciples render some service to him. So Madhavendra Puri was so pleased by the service of Ishvara Puri. And day and night they discussed pastimes of Krishna, and they were just totally in ecstasy. And at the final days, there's one beautiful verse that Madhavendra Puri chanted in the final, as he was approaching his final days. Aidina dayadra nata he, matura nata kavalokyase, hridayam twad aloka kataram, daita brahmayati kim karomyaham. Kim karomyaham, what should I do? O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved, what shall I do now? This is actually a verse of Srimati Radharani feeling the separation of Krishna. And Madhavendra Puri, he was just in ecstasy hearing this verse. Although there was another fellow named Ramachandra Puri, he was saying, why are you lamenting? You just meditate on Brahman. Just meditate on the Brahm. There's no need to lament. Nasochina kanchati. And Madhavendra Puri became so angry. Tell this guy, get out of here. If I die seeing his face, who knows what will happen. But Ishvara Puri rendered wonderful service. And the result of rendering wonderful service to the spiritual master, one pleases the spiritual master, just like we sing every day, Yasya Prasada, Bhagavat Prasada. If we please the spiritual master, we get the mercy of Krishna. Yasya Prasada. We always sing Yasya Prasada. That means by the mercy of the spiritual master. Or yasya prasada nagati. Yasya prasada nagati. By the mercy of the spiritual master, we're totally lost. Yasya, by displeasing. Yasya prasada nagati katopi. So by pleasing the spiritual master, Madhavendra Puri was totally pleased. He gave that ecstatic praying. Madhavendra Puri was the desire tree where the ecstatic praying fructified. The seed was sown and fructified within his heart. And he said, may you get Krishna Prem. He told Ishvara Puri, may you get Krishna Prem. By the blessings of the spiritual master, Ishvara Puri attained Krishna Prem. And Chaitanya Bhagavat describes very interesting pastimes of Ishvara Puri, because he traveled around to different holy places. At some point he came to Navadvip. At this time in Navadvip, Nimai Pandit was manifesting his scholarly pastimes. He was debating with everyone and defeating everyone. He was so clever in his debates, he would defeat whatever point anyone raised. He would defeat that point, and then he turned around and defeat that point. He would establish the opposite thing. And all the Vaishnavas were very sorry. They saw he has so much knowledge and so much understanding, but he's just wasting his life in this useless argument. Useless argument, or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is described like a dust storm. Just like that time is coming when April comes and all of a sudden, blowing out of the west come these huge dust storms. You see in the western horizon, big row of black clouds. And you can see, you can't hear it, but you can see the lightning flashing. And the dust being blown here and there. And suddenly all the birds come flying in front. Gradually the horizon begins to get eaten up. And all the birds come flying in front. And then suddenly, wind is blowing everywhere. And windows are not windows that are not fastened down. Prabhupada says, breaks my heart. It cracks my heart hearing all these windows crash. So we should always make sure at the end of the spring season you fasten all your windows. This dust and blows everywhere. It gets in your eyes, between your teeth, everywhere. So this useless argument is like that, just like a dust storm. So all the Vaishnavas were very upset. And Nimai, he used to tease them. Whenever he see any Vaishnava coming, he would challenge them to some useless point and defeat all their arguments and make fun of them. Even Mukunda Datta, who used to sing so sweetly, he would also challenge him and smash him, such that Mukunda Datta, if he saw Nimai's coming, he would run another way. Only somehow Gadadhar Pandit had some mercy upon him. He kept telling you should give up all this and become a Vaishnava. Nimai would laugh. He said, yes, by your mercy, maybe I'll become a Vaishnava. In fact, I can't remember who was who told him that you should become a Vaishnava. He said, you will see, I will become such a Vaishnava, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva will put their head at my feet. Everybody was astonished by saying these things. So at this period in his life, Ishvara Puri, wandering from place to place, he heard that there was one disciple of his spiritual master, Advaitacharya, who was leading all the Vaishnavas. Because all the Vaishnavas would go to Advaitacharya's house and he would preach the message of Srimad Bhagavatam and preach the chanting of the holy names. And all the situation was such that all the people say, oh, these Vaishnavas, they're dying of hunger, so they're howling in the night, making all noise, we can't sleep. These useless guys, they just sing in the street to fill their bellies. What useless guys. Everybody was just criticizing the Vaishnavas. They were very sorry at heart. But Advaitacharya, he was guiding all of the Vaishnavas. So he heard that there's one great Vaishnava who's, because when Madhavendra Puri, we'll talk about that later, Madhavendra Puri was on his way to Puri to get sandalwood for Gopal. and he happened to pass through Shantipur. And he met Advaitacharya. And Advaitacharya was so amazed by his ecstatic prayam, he begged him for initiation. So he was initiated by Madhavendra Puri. So he came there to Navadvip, hearing it was a place of great learning, and that one of his godbrothers was there preaching these wonderful Vaishnavism. So he came there, but he disguised himself. He didn't reveal, although he was the topmost devotee of the Lord. He kept all his ecstatic symptoms hidden from the people in general. But in the purport to that, Bhaktisiddhanta says one great Vaishnava may hide himself, but another great Vaishnava will recognize him. So very shyly and very carefully he entered into Advaita Prabhu's house. Advaita Prabhu was busy worshipping the deity. But immediately Advaita Prabhu, although he was very attentive to what he was doing, he kept seeing this glowing Vaishnava sitting there. Immediately he recognized this is not an ordinary devotee. And when he found out that he was also initiated by Madhavendra Puri, he was very ecstatic. And one day in Nimai, he was coming back from school for having taught his class, and Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri happened to see Nimai coming down the road, and he recognized, such divine features. Ajana Lambita Bhujo, his arms are reaching all the way past the knees. Kanakavadato, his golden complexion. All wonderful symptoms were there. So, and Nimai, he also noticed all the great qualities of this Vaishnava. So he came there, and he was enamored, seeing the beautiful characteristics of this person. So he came there, he says, "Who are you and what are you studying? What is that book in your hand?" And his students immediately said, "This is Nimai Pandit." "You're the Nimai Pandit?" Iswar Puri was surprised. He'd heard the fame of Nimai Pandit. "You're the Nimai Pandit?" Immediately, he offered his obeisances to and Nimai also, being pleased with his devotee, knowing that he's actually his great devotee, he also paid his obeisances. The Lord likes to glorify his devotees. In this way, from time to time, he would meet Nimai, have some small discussions with him. But somehow he became a great friend of Gadadhar Pandit. And they would always discuss his book. He had written a book called Krishna Lilamrit. And he and Gadadhar Pandit would discuss the divine Leelas of Krishna over and over again. So finally, one day, Nimai, he saw Madhavendra Puri walking down the path, immediately came and paid his obeisance. The Lord was paying obeisance to his own devotee. And he said, "My dear sir, you please come to my house and take prasadam." So he took Ishvara Puri home, and immediately Mother Sachi made a wonderful feast and offered it to the Lord, and they gave the Mahaprasad to Nimai, to Ishvara Puri. And in fact, it's described in Chaitanya Bhagavat how Nimai Pandit washed the feet of Ishvara Puri. When he arrived at his house, first he washed his feet and sprinkled on his head, on the head of Mother Sachi. So this is the Lord's mercy, that he always wants to glorify his devotee, even to worship his, even to wash the feet of the devotee. We can't imagine such a thing. Lord is so merciful. So in this way, they had a few times he invited him to his house and fed him very nicely. Then one day he approached Nimai. He said, "You are very learned and very wise. I have written one book called Krishna Lilamrit. I would be very happy if you would look through it and find out what faults are there that I can correct." And Nimai said, "Whoever whatever a great devotee writes is perfect. Even if it's not perfect, it's perfect. Krishna accepts the bhav. He's not interested in the content, he's interested in the bhav. He quoted one verse that a foolish person says, Vishnaya. And wise person, he says, Vishnave. Generally, Vishnaya means to offer respects to. But according to the rules of grammar, the correct, in this case, the correct word is Vishnave. But Gopal, he accepts the bhav. Bhavagrahi Janardana. Janardana, he accepts the bhav of the devotee. He's not interested, he knows perfect Sanskrit or not. He accepts the bhav of the devotee. In this way, he prays over and over again that whatever a devotee writes, a great devotee writes, it is perfect. There's no need for any correction. If anyone sees a fault, he is a great sinner, he is a great offender. But still, Ishvara Puri begged him again and again, please see it. So Mahaprabhu took his book home. Next day, he came and he said, look, there's a verb here that you've put it this way, but actually the correct form of the verb in this instance is like this. So Ishvara Puri went home and he thought it over and over again. And he came back and he said, no, the verb itself is, in this situation, is correct the way it is. And he defeated, even Lord likes to be defeated by his devotee. He defeated Ishvara Puri, Nimai. That the verb is correct as it is. In this way, he always gave his blessings that may you become a Vaishnava. Then, after he stayed at the house of Gopinath Acharya for 4 months, he stayed in Navadvip Dham. And then, because like sadhus like to continually travel from tirth to tirth, he began traveling in different tirths. In this way, Mahaprabhu Nimai's scholarly Leela came to its completion. And we know that his father had died and he wanted to perform the Shraddha. And generally people go to Gaya, Vishnu Gaya, where the lotus foot of Lord Vishnu is there. We have been there and seen. Very, very wonderful place. So he went there. He went to many places all around Gaya. There's so many places, so many rituals have to be done. Finally, he came to where the Lord's footprint is there. And all the Brahmins were chanting the glories. These are the same lotus feet that Lord Brahman, he kicked a hole in the universe and the water of the Ganga passed over his toe and became so purifying. Just like now this Kumbh Mela is going on. In Prayag, where the Ganga, Jamuna, and Saraswati joined, that Ganga that washed the lotus feet of the Lord is so purifying. This is that lotus foot. And they were chanting so many glories, hearing the glories of the Lord's lotus feet. Nimai completely lost his consciousness. He fell on the floor. By the will of providence, at that very time, Iswar Puri happened to make his entrance into the Vishnu Pad. And he saw this Nimai lying on the floor. Immediately had his disciples revive him. And as soon as Nimai revived and he saw Ishvara Puri, he was so ecstatic. He said, now my trip to Gaya is perfect. I have fulfilled everything. Because one who goes to Gaya to perform the Shraddha of his ancestor, he liberates that ancestor. But just by seeing you, millions of ancestors. So my trip to Gaya is now perfect. And Ishvara Puri said, since I saw you in Navadvip, I cannot get heart. I'm thinking of you day and night. And Nimai said, oh, that is my great fortune that such a devotee is always remembering me. In this way, they had a chance to meet several times. Then finally, he begged at the lotus feet of Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, that you please initiate me. And now I understand that the perfection of life is to be achieved by the mercy of the spiritual master. You're the qualified person who can deliver me from the cycle of birth and death. So Ishvara Puri gave him a time, and Lord Nimai came there, and Ishvara Puri initiated him into the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And then Nimai, he started to become completely pagal. He was rolling on the ground, crying, shivering, all types of manifestations began to appear in his body. In fact, this is described later when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came on his way to Puri. He passed through Varanasi. And Prakashanand Saraswati was there with his so many thousands of disciples. And Mahaprabhu sat in where they wash the feet, which is a contaminated place. And everyone came and said, "No, please come here. Why are you sitting there?" He said, "I'm an inferior sannyasi. I'm just chanting and dancing." I said, "No, you're glowing like you're Narayan himself," because they all address each other. "Namo Narayan," my dear Lord Narayan. They address each other. So he took him to a place and he said, "Why is it this chanting and dancing with fanatics? This is forbidden. Chanting and dancing forbidden for sannyasi. You should study Vedanta." And Mahaprabhu said, "Actually, my spiritual master, Ishvara Puri, he saw me as a great fool." Now everybody knew, but Mahaprabhu was very, very learned. But he presented himself, that I was a great fool. Before the spiritual master, one should always feel himself a fool. So he saw me as a great fool. "You have no business to study Vedanta. Instead, you chant the holy name of Krishna." And he gave me one verse to always remember. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalu nasteva 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 gatiranyasa. That in this dark age of Kali, there's only one way to achieve the goal of life. And that is Hare Nam, Hare Nam. 3 times, Hare Nam, Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. Now somebody may say, "Oh, this is very narrow-minded, no other way." But this is actually intelligence. Just like suppose we're sick. Do we go to the pharmacy and say, "Give me some medicine, I'm sick"? And the pharmacist says, "Well, what medicine do you want?" Now, they're all good medicine. They're all approved by the government. They're also all good medicine. "Give me some medicine, I'm sick." Do we do that? No, first we go to the doctor. The doctor sees what is our problem. He prescribes a certain medicine for our disease. Well, this is intelligence. Not that we go, any medicine, it's all good, it's all great medicine. No, according to our disease. So there's one word in this verse, Kalua, very simple word, Kalua. In this Kali Yuga, we're suffering from this contamination of Kali Yuga. So the remedy for this Kali Kal is chanting the holy name. Just like suppose I'm suffering from diabetes. And the children, they never like to take medicine. We don't have anyone to ask here. Usually when I'm preaching, I say, "You like medicine?" So they put sugar all over it. They put sugar in it. But for me, if I'm suffering from diabetes, which fortunately by Krishna's grace I'm not, if I'm suffering from diabetes, that medicine is poison. It's good medicine, approved by the government, recommended by doctors, but for me it is poison. I have to take the medicine that's appropriate for my disease. So Kalua, in this Kali Yuga, Nasteva, Nasteva. No, Gyan will not help, Karma will not help, Dhyan, meditation not help. Just this chanting of the holy name. And by chanting the holy name, I thought that I had become a madman. I went to my guru, Ishvara Puri. He said, "No, this is a result of chanting the holy name. One realizes the highest goal of life beyond all these religiosity, economic development, mukti, beyond all of that. This is premo pumarta mahan. This is the greatest, this is the 5th goal of life, achieving Krishna prem." So my spiritual master said, "You are very, very fortunate. You have achieved Krishna prem." And of course, Prakashanand Saraswati was totally amazed and was discussing more and more with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His heart became moved, and they all became his disciples. Anyway, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's description of how he was initiated by Ishvara Puri in Gaya. On the way back from Gaya, he stopped in Kumarhata. This was the name of the village where Ishvara Puri appeared. And immediately he took some dirt from that place and wrapped it in his cloth. And the purport Prabhupada explains that even today, devotees on passing through Kumarhata, they always take some of that earth and keep it with them. So Mahaprabhu set the example. He kept some earth in the birthplace of his spiritual master with him. Another time, Mahaprabhu, when he was on his way to Puri, he described a wonderful story that his spiritual master had told to him about Madhavinda Puri. They arrived, they were passing from Navadvip, they finally arrived in Orissa, and they came to a village called Balasore, and from nearby Balasore is a village of Ramuna. When they got to Ramuna, then Mahaprabhu began to describe what he heard from his spiritual master, Ishvara Puri, about Madhavinda Puri. He said, Madhavinda Puri, my spiritual master, he never begged from anyone. He would just travel around. If somebody gave him something to eat, he ate. If somebody didn't offer it, then he fasted. It wasn't like us on Braj Mandal Prikrama, why the prasad's late? We're so hungry. Every day the prasad is late. Anyway, what kind of management is this? If somebody gave him something to eat, he ate. If he didn't give anything, he didn't eat. So he came in Govardhan to a place called Govindakund. And he was sitting there, chanting the holy name of the Lord, and a little cowboy appeared and said, my dear sir, why are you fasting? Nobody in my village fasts. And Madhavinda Puri says, who are you? So I live in this village, and in my village, nobody fasts. Everyone has plenty to eat. If they don't, they go to others and eat. No one fasts in my village. Why are you fasting? Here, take some milk. I said, how did you know that I was here? No, the ladies were on the way to milk the cows. They saw you here, so they sent me this milk for you. I will come back later. I have to take care of my cows. I'll come later and get the pot back from you. And Madhavinda Puri, he couldn't understand. He was so enchanted by this young cowherd boy. But somehow he was nowhere to be seen. And he offered that milk to Krishna, and he drank the milk, and it was so sweet, without any sweetener even. So wonderful milk. His hairs were standing on end, tasting this milk. And he began chanting and watching the path, waiting for that boy to come. But that boy never returned. In the wee hours of the morning, Madhavinda Puri nodded out. And he fell asleep. In his dream, he saw that cowherd boy again. And he said, Madhavinda Puri, come with me, come with me. Madhavinda Puri, please come. And I followed him. If you go to Govindakund, just off to the side, there's a little temple. Very beautiful deity is there. Just off the side in a kunj. And there in the kunj, he pointed, he said, the pujari heard that the Muslims were attacking, and he threw me in the kunj and ran away, and he's never returned. I'm here in the heat, in the cold, in the rain. I'm suffering so much. You call all the villagers and get me out. So then, Madhavinda Puri's dream broke. He saw that it was morning. He did all his morning duties and took his bath. Then he ran to the nearby village of Anyor. And he said, the owner of this village has appeared. You bring all your cutting instruments. He's been thrown in the kunj and he's suffering. Please come, everyone. They cut away all the brush and brambles and everything. And everyone saw the beautiful deity of Gopal with his eyes just like the moon on a Ekadasi night. Just like this. With his left hand raised, just like he's holding Govardhan Hill. Everybody was astonished by the beauty of Gopal. And immediately they began to take away, because it was covered with dirt and brambles and leaves and everything. They cleaned the deity, and then they brought so many pots of water from Govindakund. They had a wonderful Abhishek ceremony. And then It took many people to lift him. They took him to the top of Govardhan Hill and set him on top of one stone. They set another stone behind him, so he's leaning against the stone. And then somebody brought some cloth. They covered him with cloth. And then somebody brought some boga, so many wonderful sweets. And they offered sweets and boga to the Lord. And then Madhavendra performed artik. And after artik, they put some straw mats around so the Lord could take rest. In this way, everyone began to hear that Gopal has appeared in Govardhan. And so all the villagers decided, they took all their stock of grains and ghee and sugar and everything, and they cooked anukut. Anna, of course, means grains, and kut, just like down the street here, we have Chitrakut ashram. Kut means mountain. So mountains of grains, mountains of puri, mountains of pots of halwa, mountains of pots of sweet rice, everything made with ghee and milk and yogurt and all these things, and nectar and so many things. They brought 10 Brahmins with them. They began to cook, and they made a wonderful feast. And more people heard. So another village came. They brought all their stock of grains and ghee and everything. And they wanted to perform the Anukut ceremony. Then another village came from all around. Then from farther away, people started hearing about Gopal. They all came. In this way, Madhavendra Puri engaged some Brahmins to worship the deity and take care of him nicely. Then some Kshatriya from a nearby town, he built a temple, a small temple. You can still see the ruins is there if you know where to look. The ruins are there of that temple. And the merchants from Mathura came and they offered all types of bangles and gold helmets and jewelry of all types and flowers and everything. In this way, every day was Anukut festival was going on. Then one day, Gopal came in Madhavendra Puri's dream. He said, my temperature has not gone down. Only if you bring malai and sandalwood and camphor will my heat be relieved. Only you can do this. At that time it was very difficult to travel. It wasn't that you jumped on an AC bus and you went to Jagannath Puri. You took the Puri Express, AC first class. No, he had to walk. Very difficult. And so many robbers were there in the road with great difficulty. Madhavendra Puri initiated some Brahmins and left them in charge of the deity, and he took off to bring the sandalwood for the Lord. In this way, as he passed through Shantipur, as we mentioned before, he had initiated Advaitacharya. Then he went to, eventually came to Ramuna, and there he heard that there was a wonderful sweet called Amrita Keli, which is sweetened condensed milk. Somehow or other, the poor editors, because we know Chaitanya Charitamrita was done very quickly, so they've written sweet rice, but sheer and kheer are two different things. Although in Bengali you used to pronounce that sheer as also as kheer. But there's not one single grain of rice in it. It's sweetened condensed milk. Every time I've been there, they figure out that I know Hindi. So they say, why your book says sweet rice? There's not even a speck of grain in this. It's sweetened condensed milk, Amrita Keli. So he thought, let me find out what this is like, and then I'll make arrangements to offer to my deity when I return to Govardhan. Then he thought, oh, I'm an offender. I want to taste the Lord's bhog before he's even enjoyed it. So after the artik, he went off to the marketplace. Meanwhile, the pujari put the Lord to rest. He himself took rest. And the deity came in his dream and said, that you please open up the door to the deity room, and you see behind my cloth, I kept one pot for my great devotee, Madhavendra Puri. So the pujari thought, I should take bath. He took bath. He entered the deity room, and just like the Lord described, he had hidden one pot behind his cloth. He took that pot, put the Lord back to rest. He took that pot, he went to the marketplace. Who's that person named Madhavendra Puri? You're so fortunate. The Lord has stolen a pot of Amrita Keli, condensed, sweetened condensed milk for you. And Madhavendra Puri was there in the empty marketplace chanting. He said, yes, I'm Madhavendra Puri, and he delivered that pot to him. And Madhavendra Puri, he ate that sweet rice just like nectar. Even after he finished, he it was a clay pot, he broke it and kept the pieces in his cloth. Then he thought in the morning when everyone finds out the Lord has stolen sweet rice for his devotee, everyone will come to see me. He didn't want any name and fame. He immediately ran from that place. But Prabhupada said the fame of devotee follows him. When he got to Puri, his fame had already reached there. So the servants of Lord Jagannath, when they understood that he wanted sandalwood and camphor for Gopal, they were the king and everyone was very much obliged to him to give him all these things and all the papers, because to travel with such valuable things in those days was very dangerous. There were so many tax places and so many things, but they gave him all the papers and everything and a couple of people to help him carry this sandalwood. And of course he got back to Ramuna, and the Lord came in his dream and said, Madhavendra Puri, you have taken too much trouble to carry this 80 kilos of sandalwood and camphor all the way to Govardhan. Is too much. You give it to a Gopinath, because Gopinath and I are one and the same. In this way he stayed and gave that sandalwood. The priests, Brahmins there were very happy. Every day they're grinding sandalwoods in the summer for Gopinath. So Mahaprabhu told this wonderful story about his, explaining the glories of his spiritual master Madhavendra Puri. Or rather, Ishvara Puri had told this story to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu explained this story that he'd heard from his spiritual master. So this is a very, very wonderful, auspicious occasion. The Disappearance Day is, of course, we know it is bittersweet. One, we're bereft of the association of our spiritual master, but the other, the spiritual masters entered the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna, so it's a very auspicious day. So this is the day Iswar Puri, the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, entered into the eternal leelas of Radha and Krishna. So we try to explain a little bit about the glories of Iswar Puri on this holy day. If anyone has any comments or questions or something to add, then we can try to answer your questions. Hare Krishna.
Deena Bandhu.
Puri.
Hey, welcome back. Lord Chaitanya made a statement that his spiritual master considered him incapable of studying Vedic philosophy and he should just chant the holy name. But we see how Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami were erudite scholars and produced so much literature. So how seriously should we take that statement that we're not qualified to study, we should just chant the holy name?
Well, the point is that it's not your knowledge of Sanskrit or grammar rules or anything that will please Krishna. They were using their knowledge of Sanskrit and their knowledge of the scriptures to reveal Krishna to the common man. So the point is, just like he pointed out that verse, that the unlearned person says Vishnaya, and a learned person says Vishnave, but the Lord accepts both. So if we have that aptitude to study Sanskrit and that type of aptitude, then we can use it for the service of the Lord. Because devotional service means employing everything in the service of the Lord. But it's not that one should feel that, I don't know any Sanskrit, I'm a low-class devotee. No, Krishna, if you chant very sincerely, Krishna will be pleased with you also.
So also,
if you have the aptitude, if you're a scholar, then use it to establish Krishna's supremacy, and that the goal of life is to render service to Krishna.
Was it like Sarvabhauma was explaining to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Vedanta philosophy? Lord Chaitanya said, he said, don't you understand? He said, yeah, I understand Vedanta philosophy, but you're clouding everything. So I was getting the impression that Prakashananda and all the different persons who were studying, they didn't have the proper maybe guidance that we're fortunate that Prabhupada gave us the the essence and the guidance so we can actually study that way.
Yeah, the point was that they were, the poor Brahmin, he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told him that I went to see Prakashanand and I mentioned you, and I said, oh, this guy's a foolish guy chanting, he's with some fanatics and he's just sentimentalist and a useless fellow. He says he's from our sampradaya, but he's actually fraud. He said so many bad things. So Mahaprabhu, just to smash Prakashanand's pride, he presented himself that I'm a fool, but then he presented all logical arguments and smashed, all the sannyasis were totally amazed by his arguments. They all became Vaishnavas. So he set the example. Even when he met Advaita Prabhu, Advaita was so astonished to see this person sitting there. He said, who are you? He said, I'm a low-born Sudra. Actually, he was born in a very high-class Brahmin family, but I'm a low... He set the example. The Vaishnava, the ornament of the Vaishnava is humility. I'm a low-caste Sudra. I don't know anything. Mm-hmm. So he presented that the Mayavadis are very puffed up. Oh, no, Narayan. You're Narayan, I'm Narayan, we're all Narayan. They're all very puffed up. So he took this very humble position and sat down where the people wash their feet, which is a dirty place. But there's no way that Mahaprabhu was unlearned. He, when he was teaching to Sanatana Goswami, you see it, amazing. When those 4 chapters after meeting Prakashanand, Sanatana Siksha is completely amazing. And he described the Amaram verse in 64 ways. It was just amazing. So this was just to smash the pride of the Mayavadis, that you're all puffed up with your learning and this and that, but that's not the qualification. In the word in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says you have to become a Sanskrit scholar if you want to enter the kingdom of God. You have to surrender to Krishna if you want to enter. Yes.
Any pastime regarding Ishvara Puri's disappearance is found anywhere? Any pastimes regarding Ishvara Puri's disappearance is found anywhere?
Regarding?
Ishvara Puri's disappearance.
Where? Which place?
Disappearance? I couldn't find anything about disappearance. All I know, it just explains that he told Govinda and Kashi Ishvara, who were his godbrothers, also disciples of, were the godbrothers of Lord Chaitanya. They were disciples of Ishvara Puri. It just says that when Ishvara Puri, before he left, he told them, you go and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So even though they were his godbrothers, he accepted service to them because his guru had ordered. But it doesn't describe how he disappeared. It just says that before he disappeared, he sent Kashi Ishvara and Govinda, you go to Puri and serve my disciple, your godbrother, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Any known location of Ishvara Puri Samadhi?
I don't know. Anybody know?
I don't know. I never heard. Where is that place?
Nope. Maybe in the 64 Samadhis. They were behind, in front of Radha Govinda temple there. But that would be a Pushpa Samadhi. I don't know. I've never heard of any Samadhi of Ishvara Puri.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji for the wonderful class. You mentioned that we shouldn't try to find faults with the literature of the Vaishnavas, means a literature written by a Vaishnava. Sometimes it are contradictory statements or conclusions of the same topic by different Vaishnavas. So what should we do in such a situation?
Just relish it. Everyone is seeing Krishna differently. The 4 different sampradayas are there, but their arguing is not useless arguing, it's just relishing the variety of Krishna's situation.
Okay.
So everybody's seeing Krishna a little bit differently. Just like high court judge when he's in the when he's in the court, the Honorable Justice B.K. Sharma, everyone please rise, and everyone stands up, and the criminals come and said, Your Honor, they call him, Your Honor, I didn't do it, he did it. But it's not that when he comes home, somebody says, the Honorable Justice B.K. Sharma, everyone please rise. No, his wife comes, she says, oh honey, how was your day? His son comes, oh papi, come play with me. Next door neighbor says, hey Ben, how was it? How was it today? So everybody has different relations. They're seeing the same person, but they're seeing a little bit differently. We should just relish the differences, that's all.
Thank you.
Way in the back there's a question. All right, here's one here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. I have a philosophical doubt. Since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was initiated by Ishvara Puri, who comes from Madhva Sampradaya. But when Mahaprabhu visited Udupi and met the disciples and successors of Madhvacharya, he the conversation mentions that he did not show that kind of respect as Sampradaya Acharya.
It doesn't actually describe that he was arguing with the people from the Udupi Mad. It just said he met some people there called the Tattvavadis. And he argued with them.
Right.
That's the argument anyway that they give. In Udupi, they told me that Tattvavadis were another group of people who happened to live in that same area.
But they were followers of Madhvacharya, the Tattvavadis. So the doctrines...
Not necessarily Tattvavadis, but there are some people who were Tattvavadis were living there also in Udupi. But the Madhva Sampradaya is different.
Okay,
that's my understanding.
Okay, thank you, Ruchi.
Yes, in the back there's a...
Yeah, as you say, it is in the 64 Samadhi area in Vrindavan, is Samadhi.
Try it slowly.
Because the question was where is his Samadhi, and when you said maybe in the 64 Samadhi area, and it's true.
Is it true that it may be?
It is
I don't know.
in the 60. Yeah. It is there.
There's Pushpa Samadhis there, many people who don't necessarily have any real Samadhi anywhere. But those are just commemorating different associates of the Lord Chaitanya.
Oh, it's not the real Samadhi.
No.
Oh. Sì.
Any other questions?
Però io ho letto che il suo Samadhi dice che non.
If there's no other questions, then we can fall down at the very soft and wonderful lotus feet of that great personality who's given us this chanting of the holy name as the means to attain love of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Vieni con me che mi diverti. Io ho guardato in Google e mi dicono che il suo Samadhi è lì, capito? Magari è Pushpa.